funny faces around her, trying to make her laugh, but the professional Yang Yang remains unfazed. Tian Kuo realizes this is her job, the source of her dignity and livelihood. So he stops his antics and simply watches over her silently, his gaze growing more tenderer. He has so much he wants to say to Yang Yang, but their moments together are always so fleeting. Before he can even start, she is already rushing to her next shift. As night falls, Yang Yang finally finishes her long day of work. She carefully counts her hard-earned coins, deciding to use this hard-won money to treat Tian Kuo to a proper meal. The two head into a bustling noodle shop at the night market. Letting the delicious aromas wash away the day's fatigue, their faces beam with contented smiles. However, just as they are about to pay, something unexpected happens. Yang Yang pulls out a pocket full of coins, ready to count them out for the owner one by one. But counting the coins takes time, and the customers waiting in line are already growing impatient. Tian Kuo doesn't want to put the owner in a difficult position, nor does he want Yang Jiang to feel embarrassed in front of everyone. So he ignores her protests and quickly pulls out some cash to settle the bill. He thinks this is a thoughtful gesture, but he doesn't realize that this act is like a thorn, deeply piercing the girl's fragile and sensitive pride. Those cold coins were earned by standing motionless under the scorching sun for hours on end. She wanted to use her most cherished earnings to repay his kindness. It was an expression of equality, a gift of dignity. But Tian Kuo's effortless payment unintentionally devalued all her hard work, making her feel as though her sacrifices were being looked down upon. The smile vanishes from Yang Jiang's face as they leave the noodle shop. No matter how Tian Kuo tries to explain, she refuses to listen. The two have their first argument through sign language. The once romantic date ends on a sour note. A small rift begins to form between them. However, misfortunes never come singly. By the time Yang Jiang returns home filled with grievance and anger, she finds smoke billowing from the building. A fire has broken out. Her sister Xiaopeng, unable to hear the neighbors' shouts or the alarms, was trapped inside and inhaled so much smoke that her respiratory tract was burned. She is rushed to the hospital. Looking at her frail sister in the hospital bed, Yang Jiang is consumed by guilt and self-reproach. If only she hadn't gone on that date, if only she had come home earlier, her sister wouldn't have suffered like this. This guilt weighs on her heart like a massive boulder. What devastates her even more is accidentally overhearing a conversation among her sister's teammates. Her sister's injuries were more severe than expected. In addition to respiratory burns, her ribs were also injured. This will likely jeopardize her eligibility for the competition. This news was like a bolt from the blue, causing Yang Jiang's world to shatter instantly. Her sister's dream was her own. It was the entire purpose behind her years of hard work. Now all of this might vanish into thin air because of her own negligence. From that day on, she decided to stop replying to any of Tian Kuo's messages. She chose to shut herself off, punishing herself through avoidance, while trying to sever the feelings that were distracting her. Meanwhile, unaware of what happened, Tian Kuo lost contact with Yang Jiang and felt as if his entire world had lost its color. He searched for her in every place they had ever been together, but found no trace of her, until one day he walked into that small noodle shop once more. He overheard the owner and customers gossiping about how cute Yang Jiang is. Pity she's a mute, they said, and he finally couldn't help but speak up for her.
She's not a mute, boss. She's a dear friend. We are her agents. She is deaf, and she has a name. It's Yang Jiang.
With that, he pulled a handful of coins from his pocket, and just like Yang Jiang did that day, he began counting them one by one with patience. The crisp clinking of the coins sounded remarkably clear in the noisy shop. At that moment, he finally seemed to grasp Yang Jiang's frustration and her persistence that day. He began to try and enter her world, experiencing life the way she does. He shared these feelings with Yang Jiang, but he never received a response. Seeing their son so dejected and lost every day, Tian Kuo's parents saw right through him. Guessing that the boy had fallen into the depths of a broken heart, his father prepared a beautiful fruit platter and sat down beside his son to gently comfort him. He even spills his own romantic past just to cheer him up. Under his father's patient guidance, Tian Kuo finally asks the question he's been holding back for so long.
What kind of girl do you actually like? Once things get serious, you should bring her home to meet us, okay?
Mom, would you accept me dating someone who is hearing impaired?
Stunned by the news, his father is momentarily at a loss for words. He relays the news to his wife, expecting her to be strongly opposed. To his surprise, after the initial shock and worry, the mother's main concern shifts to how they will communicate. These kind and open-minded parents don't dismiss the relationship because of her disability. Instead, they start learning sign language in secret. To cheer up her discouraged son, the mother softens her usually fiery temperament. She even adopts an unusually sweet, cutesy tone.
Come down and help me out for a bit. Okay.
This sudden tenderness makes Jiankuo a bit uncomfortable. He leaves for a delivery. His mother slips him $30, telling him there's no need to rush back once he's finished. She encourages him to hang out with friends and relax. His parents' understanding and support are like a warm current, flowing into his cold heart, holding the money from his mother. He gazes at the heavy rain outside. He makes a silent resolve he must go see Yang Yang, clear up the misunderstanding and apologize in person. Soon after, Jiankuo takes his gift, a delicate water bird piggy bank, tucking it inside his shirt to keep it dry. He arrives at Yang Jiang's apartment. He knocks for a long time, but there is no answer. Unbeknownst to him, Yang Jiang is hiding behind the curtains, watching his every move. Disheartened, Jiankuo had no choice but to leave the gift on the chair by the door and turn away, until the sound of his motorcycle faded into the city's hustle and bustle. Only then did Yang Yang cautiously step out and open the box. Seeing the waterbird piggy bank, she instantly understood Tianquo's feelings. In truth, she missed him just as much. It was only her guilt toward her sister, acting like a shackle that made her afraid to hope for love. Meanwhile, her sister Xiao Peng had seen all of Yang Yang's sacrifices and pain. She refused to be a stumbling block to her sister's happiness at the same time. The coach officially informed her that her injuries had impacted her performance. She would miss the competition with her dreams shattered. She was in agony, but what she found even more unbearable was the feeling that she had failed her sister's selfless devotion. Late that night, Xiao Peng came home drunk, and the two sisters had their most heated argument ever. Her sister's words hit like a heavy hammer, jolting Yang Yang awake. She finally realized that what she saw as sacrifice in her sister's eyes might actually be a heavy burden and an invisible pressure.
Time starts to pass before you know it. But you were frozen. Something happened for the very first time with you. My heart melts into the ground, bound. That night, the sisters finally lay everything out in the open.
Yang Yang finally understood that her sister also wanted her to have her own life, to see the world freely instead of tying her entire life to her sister's dream. After this confrontation, the emotional knot between the sisters was finally untied. Yang Yang emerged from her self-imposed isolation, deciding to bravely face her own heart. With her heart at peace, Yang Yang finally replied to Tianquo's message. She asked him a soul